Hi, this is Justyna Redelkiewicz, and you are listening to my channel Go Crazy, Go Cosmic, where we speak about startups, investments, and reaching for the stars. In today's episode, we will speak about how to get your first customer. It's extremely difficult, I know, but there are some techniques you can use, and the key is preparation. So stay with me until the end. I will tell you my practical experiences on how to reach out to the customers, but most of all, how to define best who my customer is. When I train and mentor startups, many times we start from a very broad definition of the customer. Startups tell me, I would like to target banks or I would like to target agriculture sector. But with this definition, we are not able to move forward. So the first thing you need to do is to define your customer very, very in detailed way. Meaning not only the sector, but the name of the company and ideally the person that you would like to target. If not the person, at least the position of the ideal customer within a company. So I give you an example. If you are a company that is developing some software solutions for automotive, it's not enough to say I target automotive sector. You should say I target Porsche, BMW, I don't know, Dodge, and so on. And then you identify who is inside these organizations your target customer. Is it the CEO? Is it the CTO? Is it some head of department? Or is it someone in the operational line? And then research the organizational structure, check these people on LinkedIn, and define really who in name and surname is your potential customer. Of course, you can identify a few people because if you identify only one, it will be maybe more difficult to reach them, but have this list very, very specific. Then once you have the name, check these people, where they go, where you can meet them, if there are some contact details available online, if they go to events, if they speak, if they participate in working groups, if they go to info sessions, if they participate in webinars. So do a bit of investigation. Because from my experience, just cold emails don't work. You have to see these people in person. Of course, when we speak about B2B, B2G type of services, if you target a large consumer base, it is a different story. But in most of the cases in space and deep tech markets, it's a B2B market, so it is based on personal relationships. When you have your customer identified, ideally, try to see if you have something in common in your network. If there is someone, ideally, that could introduce you to these potential customers. Why? Because these warm introductions really speed up. Really speed up. It can save you months of work. If someone can introduce you, you immediately get a meeting. And sometimes when you are, for example, developing an IT software and you target, I don't know, maybe banking sector, and you don't know anyone in the banking sector, then hire a consultant with a network that can really speed up things for you. And you don't need to really spend months developing, starting from cold emails, because it takes really a lot of time. So sometimes it's easier to hire a consultant or hire a business developer or someone that has the network. Remember, when you sell, network is the number one asset. When you define your customer, there is also a very important part, that is who benefits from your services and who pays for your services. These are two separate things. For example, I'm delivering services to startups. I'm doing mentoring, training, coaching. But it's not the startup who is normally paying me. Of course, this happens that I sell directly, but it would take me a lot of time to generate enough income if I only target startups. So I identified that there are acceleration programs where I can sell my services and in that way gain immediately 30, 50 hours that can be paid. So you see that my user of my services is the startup, but who pays is the acceleration program. And this is very important because in the B2G and B2B scenarios, especially in the space sector, there is very frequently a public institution that is buying my services like ESA, USPA, or other organizations, and my services are delivered to someone else. If, for example, I do a platform that is processing satellite data, I can sell it to a public institution, but users will be society, citizens, other companies. So make it also very clear who is paying for your services and who is using your services. It's not always the same. Okay, then we have the next steps. So we already identified the name and surname of whom we want to target. And then we understand that this person goes somehow to events and we can meet them in the meetings. What I recommend is always to try to target small events. If an event has less than 300 people, it really increases the chances of me speaking to my target customer. If it's a huge event like Web Summit or InfoShare and the others, it is very, very difficult to find a person, because if we have 5,000 people in one venue, how can we even find each other? Sometimes my target customer is speaking, so then I can go and attend their speech and then wait for them after. But from my experience, the really popular speakers, they run away immediately after, and it's very difficult to talk to them. So the most important thing again is preparation. When you know that you will be at an event where your target customer is, try to understand how can you get again some introduction. So use services, support services like, for example, Cassini Matchmaking, that can invite you to smaller side event, that can introduce you to people. You can also speak to the conference organizers. Sometimes you can afford sponsorship package, and you can use this connection to be introduced again to your customer. If this is not possible and you have to pitch directly, prepare this in advance. So contact this target customer via LinkedIn before you approach them. Tell that you will be attending their session, and maybe they can have 5 minutes afterwards. And then when you finally meet to the person, make sure that you get their contact details, that you get their business cards. Even if they say they don't have, try to at least note their email or have some contact for follow-up. Because believe me, even if you give your business card to the customer, it is very unlikely that they reach you unless they desperately need your service. Then what is also important is to make sure that you do a proper follow-up. So write this email after, follow up, remind. Don't be afraid to be a bit of a stalker, but in a positive, constructive way. And last but not least, be patient. Business development and network development takes years. So it is normal that in B2B, B2G scenario, you develop one customer, one lead over a couple of months. And in many cases, it is based on personal relation, and this really takes time. I read somewhere that for a customer to remember your logo, it takes 7 to 9 times. So they have to somehow see your logo, see you 7 times to remember you, which is not a great statistic. And that's why make sure that you just take it easy and step by step, never give up, and develop your network, your business. Once you find the first customer, everything will be much easier, and it will go on its own. So I wish you a lot of success as usual, and hope that this was helpful for you. Thank you.